Am I okay?
Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. My name is Sitapati Das.
My name is Danna Devi.
And this is Bhagavad-gita, the Song of God, as it is by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 5, text number 22. You want to do the Sanskrit today?
Okay, sure.
Go for it.
If I can see. Jehi saṁsparśa-jā bhogā duḥkha-yonaya evate ādy-antavantaḥ kaunteya na teṣu ramate budhaḥ. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Those.
Hi.
He.
Not sorry. He.
Certainly.
Saṁsparśajāḥ.
Saṁsparśajāḥ.
Jaha. Okay.
By contact with the material senses.
Bhogāḥ.
Enjoyment.
Duḥkha.
Distress.
Yonayaḥ.
Sources of.
Eva.
Certainly.
Te.
They are.
Ādy.
In the beginning.
Antavantaḥ.
Subject to.
Kaunteya.
O son of Kuntī.
Na.
Never.
teṣu.
In those.
Ramate.
Take delight.
Budhaḥ.
The intelligent.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses, O son of Kuntī. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Famous verse. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is this here. It's like the contact of the material senses with, it's kind of like it needs another object. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Purāṇa it is said, Ramante yogino nante satyananda chiratmani iti rama padane sau param brahmabdidiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said, Nayam deho dehabhajam nirloke kashtan kama nahar te vidbhajam ye tapo divyam putraka ye nasatvam shuddhyedyasmat brahmasaukyam tvanantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified, and as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. I think that's King Rishabdev speaking there. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the causes of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. Lord Rishabdev.
Yeah. Sad.
What's that?
The more you want, the more you're addicted to material pleasures, the more you are
entrapped by material miseries. Yeah, two sides of the same coin.
Om
Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Enmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. 522. No changes to the text.
No, only some.
No changes to the purport. No.
Bhujam?
Nothing of substance here. It's bhajam to bhujam. Yeah.
What's the difference between bhajam and bhujam? ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre Pachano y Puchano?
Let's see. Okay, so here it has Deha Bhajam, of those who entertain. Deha Bhajam, of those who entertain. Where do I get of those who entertain from? Bhajam, of those who entertain? What? That's interesting. Deha and then Bhajam, it means of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Deha, material body, Bhajam. Bhajam. But Bhajam, of those who entertain. Let's do Bhajams. Entertainments. Okay, stool eaters.
The hogs.
The hogs, yeah.
Have you ever observed them?
Pigs?
No, the hogs.
What's the difference between a hog and a pig? Let's ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to write an essay on oatmeal versus porridge with reference to French existentialism. Pretty good too. Between a hog and a pig. This is so good. Look, the headlines. Oatmeal versus porridge, a French existentialist perspective. Oatmeal, absurdity and individuality. Porridge and the quest for meaning.
Oh my gosh.
The shared bowl of existence. So good, man. I'm going to post this in this group here.
Such a waste of time.
People need to see this. No way, that's quality content. In common language usage, pig and hog are often used interchangeably, but in more specific agricultural or zoological contexts, they can have distinct meanings. Pig, domesticated animal, raised for meat. Hog is a term that's used to refer to older pigs, typically raised for their meat. Hog, domestic pig that weighs more than 120 pounds, so it's American. In agricultural terms, hogs are pigs that have reached a size suitable for slaughter, being bred for meat production.
Oh, my barrel.
All hogs can be considered pigs. Not all pigs are classified as hogs. It depends. So, when you say, oh, you're hogging it, it means like you're really greedy and you're taking too much of it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, pigs are really big hogs. Sorry, hogs are really big pigs. Hogs. Let's eat anything, including stool.
Yuck. Oh.
This one too.
Okay. Oh, look at that mess.
Yeah. Okay, to the verse itself.
Krishna.
Yeah, an intelligent person doesn't take part in the sources of misery. I mean, you can understand it through intelligence, that material pleasures have a beginning and an end.
Always.
Yeah.
And also, it has a component of misery to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has also a misery in that, even if it's really good, it ends, and then the ending of it is painful, the missing it.
Missing what? Not having...
Whatever the pleasurable experience or thing was. So then it will go,
Okay.
The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he's entrapped by material miseries. But then, of course, people are like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to live this kind of empty, boring, kind of ascetic life, Like, what's the whole point then? But there's a way of engaging with the material energy by engaging it in Krishna's service, such that you don't get entrapped by that.
You can still have a very enjoyable life, yet very without the karmic reactions, I guess.
It's not necessarily without the karmic reactions. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, there's people like Metallica. They became very famous and successful, but very unhappy. And most people are endeavoring for achieving something in life which they think, when I get this, I'm finally going to be happy, but they never actually get it.
That's true.
I mean, let's go back to our oatmeal and porridge
Mm.
thing. Hang on. Right? This is funny, actually. This is a good point here. Here we go. The debate between oatmeal and porridge. I mean, this was just a fun thing I had to create, right? Give me an essay on oatmeal versus porridge. It was something that came up in the meeting. Just like a hog or a pig, is that the same thing? And then I said I was eating muesli, and then the Americans are like, what is that? Is that like oatmeal or like? And I'm like, there's oatmeal, there's porridge, there's muesli. So I said, oh, let me ask ChatGPT, but then I just chucked in with reference to French existentialism, right? But listen to this. Oatmeal versus porridge, a French existentialist perspective. The debate between oatmeal and porridge is more than just a gastronomic distinction. It unravels into a larger conversation about life, meaning, and the choices we make. From an existentialist perspective, particularly rooted in French existentialist philosophy, this debate gains profound significance. French existentialists such as Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, and Albert Camus grappled with themes of absurdity, freedom, and authenticity. I read Sartre and Camus before I became a devotee. And while they may not have directly referenced oatmeal or porridge, their philosophical musings can be applied to enrich our understanding of these seemingly mundane breakfast dishes. Oatmeal, absurdity and individuality. In its most basic form, oatmeal is made from oats and water or milk. It represents simplicity and authenticity. In many ways, oatmeal is analogous to the existential idea of the absurd. Camus, in his work, The Myth of Sisyphus, speaks of the inherent absurdity of life, the endless repetition without clear purpose. Much like Sisyphus, pushing his boulder up the hill only to have it roll back down, oatmeal in its repetitiveness and simplicity embodies the routine many find in their own lives. You know about the myth of Sisyphus? He was cursed and he had to roll this rock up the hill all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night it would roll back down to the bottom, and then he would wake up in the morning and have to roll it back up. And he just kept doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Porridge and the quest for meaning. Radical freedom and anxiety that comes with it. The shared bowl of existence. So anyway, my point here is that in life, what most people do is they're like Sisyphus, rolling that rock up the hill, and they think I'm going to get somewhere. I'm eventually going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just never get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're saving, or they're waiting, or they're trying to find the right person and waiting. And it's like, there's actually another French existentialist. I don't even know how you pronounce this. I've never heard anyone say it, but
you can say it. I mean, I can say it.
Yeah, hang on. Tell me about
For
waiting.
His very American accent. He can speak French.
yeah. Waiting for Godot. Right?
Godot.
Have you ever heard of that? Waiting for Godot? It's a play by Samuel Beckett, an Irish playwright who wrote it in French. I thought it was a French existentialist one. Okay. And subsequently oversaw its English translation, first performed in 1953. The play is one of the most significant works of the theatre of the absurd, a post-World War II genre that focused on the idea that human existence has no inherent meaning and communication is fundamentally inadequate to convey any existential truth.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that human existence has no inherent meaning,
Mm-hmm.
you recognize that, right? Life is empty and meaningless.
Mm.
And it's empty and meaningless, that it's empty and meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, plot and structure. The play is deceptively simple in terms of plot and setting. It centers around two main characters, Vladimir, often called Didi, and Estragon, Gogo, who are waiting by a leafless tree on a country road for the arrival of someone named, now I don't know whether you say Godot or Godot.
Godot.
Probably Godot because it's French, right? The narrative unfolds, or more accurately stagnates, over two acts, both of which involve the pair engaging in a variety of conversations and meeting two other characters, Pozo and his slave Lucky, along with a boy who delivers messages from Godot. Throughout the play, Pozo and Lucky provide a stark and disturbing contrast to the main characters. Blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Godot, whom they are waiting for, never appears, and his identity remains a mystery. The play ends much as it starts, with Vladimir and Estragon deciding to leave but not moving, stuck in the perpetual wait. The play grapples with the themes of existentialism, the search for meaning, and the experience of time. Mm-hmm. Waiting for Godot examines the human life as an endless, often pointless wait for a salvation or a revelation that never comes. The lack of a traditional plot, character development, or a climax is deliberate, emphasizing the monotony and the nonsensical aspects of life. So that's what life is like. It's like that, people are waiting for the thing to happen.
The perfect person, the perfect partner.
Yeah, the perfect job, the perfect
husband,
place.
The perfect husband.
I know. I mean, well, you're lucky they arrive, but for most people, it never arrives.
You're lucky they arrive for you too, eh?
Yeah. So people are, they're waiting and they're thinking that, one day I'll make it, one day I'll be there. And then they, at some point, or maybe never, they realize it's not coming.
By then it's too late.
Yeah, but then there are some people who do get there. Like, for example, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to make it in the rock and roll band, like AC/DC. I'll make it in a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Metallica made it there. And if you watch Some Kind of Monster, when they get there, there's nothing there. But most people never get there. So an intelligent person doesn't take part in that.
Don't wait. Make it happen. Now.
Yeah. It's not just that, though, because even then, it's like, there's this did someone send it? Someone must have sent it. It's a little kind of video. And it's this guy somewhere in Europe. And he's being interviewed in a disco. And he's like, I've read all the existentialists and all the great philosophers. And it's just all angst and meaninglessness. Life is meaning. And he said, and so, so that's how I ended up in the discotheque, bothering women and sometimes participating in orgies. He's this young guy. And the lady who's interviewing him says, have you read Eastern philosophy? And he's like, what? And she's like, Eastern philosophy. He's like, what's that? And she's like, it's, a philosophy that there's like a unity of oneness underlying everything, and that you can experience it through meditation, like this. She's saying that to him. And then the beat drops and he just kind of like steps away from the mic and just starts going like this. He's just like,
they're trying to run away.
Well, he's just like engaged in the senses, and that's where that ends, because it's like, even you're like, oh, I'm not going to chase like material success or anything. I'm just going to become a hippie and go out into the woods, or into the wild, or I'm going to be a dropout, or I'm going to
never have a bath. Just eat leaves.
Yeah, so
little insects. Oh.
Yeah, so what you end up doing is you end up becoming like a mode of ignorance kind of enjoyer on another level.
Right. Yeah, got it.
Because there's no way out of this. Like, well, how do you get out? Like, what do you do what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit there and do nothing? You got to do something. There has to be some kind of engagement. So this is the essential point of Bhagavad-gita, is that Arjuna will be engaged in doing things, and he will look externally like everyone else. Hey, he's doing things.
Yeah.
But he has a different consciousness about what he's doing.
Yeah. Correct. With the material senses.
Yeah. I quite like existentialism, but especially the absurdist kind of aspect of it.
Why is that? What part of it do you like?
What
is your philosophical thinking about that?
Well, like that play Waiting for Godot, right? Or Godot. And then there's like Franz Kafka's The Castle. Well, not The Castle, The Trial. And Metamorphosis as well. It's just about the essential existential absurdity. And so, we go down to like the New Zealand Parliament occupation, and we're there. It's fundamentally absurd. Life is fundamentally absurd. The whole thing, everything. And so we're there. I'm there. I'm wearing a pink dhoti and, this rainbow shirt, and chanting Hare Krishna in the middle of like this whole thing. And it's like, it's a non sequitur. It doesn't make any sense. It's absurd. It's absurdist theater. People are just like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. People were confused. They were like, what are these guys doing here? The protesters were confused. People who'd seen us in Auckland were kind of like, yeah, okay, we can get it. But otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. It's not materially correlated with the cause and effect of the narrative of the drama that's taking place. And that's because bhakti is ahoitaki and apratiyata, pure devotional services. unmotivated and uninterrupted. Ahoitaki means it has no material motivation. There's no, and so then chant Hare Krishna in any of the, it's like, how does that make any sense materially? It doesn't make any sense materially. And it's fundamental absurdism in the material sense, because the other thing about it is it's always the answer. It's like, and so then chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And people are like, that doesn't make any sense. How does that even follow anything, It's like, whatever the proposition is, the correct answer is A, chant Hare Krishna. And people are like, how does that follow? It's like, the house burned down, and so chant Hare Krishna. Or like, I won the lotto, and so chant Hare Krishna. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an absurdist non sequitur that you add to everything, and it spiritualizes everything.
Right.
And it's just fundamentally absurd. People are like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, now you have realized reality. In reality, nothing makes any sense. You only think it does, but it's an illusion. Nothing makes any sense. And Hare Krishna always makes sense. It's fundamentally, anyway.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to the materialist. The Hare Krishna is like, what the heck is that?
I know, it's
understand.
It's absurdist.
And
it's
then
absurdist.
to the materialists that I just keep working hard and hard and hard to for the tiny little pleasure and
then
a lot
die.
of suffering.
And they're not even the material body themselves, and they never realize who they are. It's absurdist.
It is absurd for us because they spend so many years to the end. They even die with so many regrets, abandoned by their own families. It's absurd. And where's the money? Where's the hard work you put it on? Are you going to take anything with you?
What was the point?
Yeah. It's like there was a verse in I think it's in Bhagavad-gita for the it's somewhere in Bhagavad-gita 10 or 11 for the sages is dark, and but for materials it's light or something like that.
Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashato mune. It's in the 2nd chapter. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage.
How do we we connected?
269.
Okay. That's incredible. I'm thinking about it. Are you thinking about it? You found it like, Gordo.
Yeah.
We're synchronized.
Absurdist. So the French existential absurdism it's awesome. It's like it's like a real perception of the ridiculousness of life, right? But the left turn that they take is that they are that, and that's why this guy's like, it's all angst and everything, and it's like, so where he's gone to is it's all empty and meaningless, and that means something. Like, that's really significant. Actually, Jan Galera, who's a seminar leader at Landmark, we were introduction leaders together, and he's into black metal. He's from France, and he's into black metal. And we used to talk about that, and different races. He drove me home a couple of times. We'd listen to some in the car, and he said that black metal basically it's life is empty and meaningless, and that's very significant. That's black metal. Raw, life is empty and meaningless, and that's really significant. Whereas the full understanding of that is life is empty and meaningless, and it's empty and meaningless. That it's empty and meaningless. It's insignificant, and then you become free, and everything's actually just Leela, play. It's a joke.
Are you a joke?
Yep. Transcendental joke on the world. Okay. Chant Hare Krishna. That's the answer. The correct answer at the end of the book. A, chant Hare Krishna.
I think in the wrong verse.
No, this is it. Yeah. Ramate.
Okay, sure. Yes.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
You want to do it again? Finish. Oh, hang on. We got to do it in te reo.
Oh, la terreo.
5:22. Here we go.
Nice. Okay, you have 6 minutes.
Yeah, heaps of time. All the time in the world. 5:22. Any comments? No comments. Oh, it's quite a long translation. Let's see. Do you want to let Saraswati know that we sent the money?
I'm sure she will find it in that account.
The wise man does not enter into the sources of pain because he is in contact with the chemical faculties. What? The son of Kuntī, these kinds of pleasures have a beginning and an end, so the wise man does not enjoy them. This construction here. So what it should say is the wise man does not, you could say, enter into the sources of pain, which themselves are due to contact with the chemical faculties.
Doesn't make much sense, but
no, but it's instead of saying that they are due to, it says because he is in contact with the chemical faculties.
Don't know why they bring the chemical faculties, but anyways.
Well, it's because I don't think there's a collective term for all of the senses.
Material senses.
Yeah, there's no collective term for that.
Material senses.
Yeah. Anyway, let's roll with this translation for now.
Sure.
Okay, you want to read it?
Oh. Kaore te tangata matau e uru atu ki naga puna o te mamai. Nā te mea no te whakapapa, atu ki naga pukenga matu. E te tama a Kuntī.
Son of Kuntī, tama a Kuntī.
He timatanga, he mutunga ene I momo.
These, or those.
Momo, hola momo. Pareka na raira, kaore, te tangata waka no whakaaro, nui e koa ki enei momo.
Whakaaro, make heart. It's like thoughts. Nui, wise.
¿Qué significa momo?
Okay, let's have a look.
It is
kinds. E nei momo. These kinds. Te tangata matau. What you looking at?
Tu mi mamai. Tu eres mi mamai. Which
mamai
means misery.
Misery. Nā te mea, due to. Whakapā, contact. Chemical. So the material senses is actually the chemical faculties. E te tama a Kuntī, the son of Kuntī. A beginning, he timatanga, an end, he mutunga. Enei momo, these kinds. Pareka, pleasures. Nareira, therefore, kaore does not te tangata. Whakaaro nui. E koa ki enei.
Oh, you are my ekoa, my delight.
Ekoa.
Ekoa. Hello, mi ekoa.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sanskrito. Yehi saṁsparśa-jā bhogā. Yehi saṁsparśa-jā bhogā. Duḥkha-yonaya evate. Misery, born of. Certainly. Ādy-antavantaḥ kaunteya teṣu ramate budhaḥ.
An intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kuntī, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, if your house burns down, chant Hare Krishna. If you win lotto, chant Hare Krishna. True story, brother. Hare Krishna, Mark. Much love to you and to your family.
Hare
Adivol.
Krishna. Say hi to Leela.
Harival.